Hey everybody, this video is about the Roland MV8800 and more specifically about the LoFi processor. It's one of the MFX or multi-effects that comes on the Roland MV. This video is going to be a quick rundown of how the effect actually works and how I utilize it in my productions. So to get started, I've got a quick beat here that I've put together, nothing fancy, just a simple kick, hat, snare, and clap, and this is what it sounds like without any effect on it. Okay, so I'll give you a little taste of it with the effect on now. So as you can tell, it's quite a bit grittier, a little bit grimier, more crunchy, as they say. Here's a quick rundown of what it sounds like with the effect off again, but as a one shot. So here's the kick, snare, hat, clap, and secondary kick. And again with the effect on it, just the one shots. So you can tell it loses a little bit of high end on it, but not necessarily in a bad way. And it's also got that aliasing sound in the higher end there. You can tell it hangs on just a little bit longer than the samples as well. That's kind of down to the way I've got it set up, so let's go into that real quick here. Okay, so and the way the effects are structured in the multi-effects are that they're kind of a chain, and within the chain there are different blocks. So in the LoFi processor, the bitrate block, first of all there is a pre-filter, which in this case I've got it turned off because the pre-filter is addressing the incoming sounds. So again, if I turn the effect completely off and I play the loop, there's a lot of high-end content there. And when you turn the effect on, if you have the pre-filter on, it's going to cut out even more of that high end. So I wanted a bit of that to make its way through. Now, the sample rate itself, the way the manual explains it, it is a fraction in relation to the pre-existing sample rate. So in the MV we're working 16-bit, and I believe it's 44.1. So if you use the sample rate dial to go up, that's actually going to be fractional to the 44.1. So at half you'd be running 22 1/3. Excuse me, off the top of the head of my mouth, 17. No, it'd be less than that, 13, I guess, less than 13. And then the bit rate itself, which I tend to keep it at 12 because I'm trying to emulate like classic 12-bit samplers, the older style that do what they do to the samples that we all enjoy, or that I do anyway. So again, if we play it again, if we increase the fraction of the sample rate included, it gets grosser and grosser. So find half or 1/3, or you can leave it at 44 and go to 12-bit at 44, which still sounds good. With this particular beat, I went with 1/3. Okay, so I got the post filter on again, like I said, to curb some of the nastiness, but the pre-filter on to leave a little bit of it in there. Now, if you go down the blocks, you can adjust two other effects on there. The filter itself, what I've done here is used a high pass and turned up the resonance a bit, and so I'll just turn this block off and I'll play it again. So the effect is on without the filter. And what the filter is going to do with the resonance is it's going to oscillate the filter a little bit, and with the high pass you put it at just the right frequency and it's going to actually give you more bottom end, which is counterintuitive, but it's like I said, it's a synthesis technique that you can use to get more bottom end. So again, without it, I'm going to turn it on right here. Again, just a little bit more bottom end. And then finally in the chain is the noise suppressor. The threshold is going to be the level that kicks the noise suppressor in, and then the release is the amount of time it takes for it to release. So the shorter you go with the release, the less of that aliasing you're going to hear. But in relation to that, the threshold again is going to affect the volume. So depending on your beat, you got to kind of find a good balance between the two to have it affect the way you would like it, so it's not overhanging forever, and it doesn't give you the too much pumping. I mean, a little bit of pumping's good, but you don't want too much. So that's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like with the rhythmic samples. I'm just going to show you now. I've got another track. I'll turn the effect off, and I got another track here that is melodic samples, and I'll just give you an idea. That's without the effect, and I'll turn the effect on again so you can see how it works with melodic samples. Again, just a little more beef, a little more presence maybe, not quite as clean. And I'll turn it off. So again, much less noticeable in the melody type of with the melody type samples, but not so subtle with the rhythmic ones. I'm going to turn it off one more time here, and this time I'm going to play everything back together. And again, this effect is just going to the master. If you choose to route separate out of the machine, you know, you're not going to have this effect available unless you route it to an auxiliary and then route everything. But right now, for the purposes of this, we're just applying it to the master, and everything's getting a little taste of it. So here's everything together without the effect on. Turn it on right here now. So that's everything, I guess, the way I use it, or the way I've used it in this track. And again, mostly to emulate the old 12-bit samplers, give everything a little bit of grit, as I say, something that the MV, you know, unbeknownst to me before this, didn't really excel at, but I wasn't really exploring the LoFi processor, so that's why I was inspired to do this, pass it on, and you know, get other people looking into it if they're looking for a different sound out of their MV. Something a little more, like I said, a little more old school sounding. So yeah, I've got a little bit here to play back for you. I've got one more track of bass, and in this particular instance, the MV is sequencing a different synth I got running into my board, not going through the MV, so it doesn't have the effect on it. And yeah, so again, I'll just play this, and if you got any more questions or want to see anything else in this format about the Roland MV, I could try and hook you up, I guess, so let me know. See ya.